Righty-ho, welcome to the Airbus A320NX. We've finally managed to get the VNAV working properly, so we're on a nice VNAV descent profile now down to Sorin, which is the initial fix for the standard arrival to Dublin. Runway 28 left will be in use. One little bug that came up though is basically there's a sort of line of waypoints that make an arc here, and they're all constrained to 7,000. So basically, if it's busy, you fly the whole arc. If it's not so busy, you cut yourself off at one point and you basically just fly in. Now, with all of those constraints in, so 7,000 every 2 or 3 miles, the FMC calculated a descent about 300 miles before Dublin and about 250 miles before Sorin, which is obviously a little bit too far out. Deleting all of those waypoints fixed that, so now the top of descent was much more sensible. So you can see now we've got 29 miles to Sorin, we've got about 3,500 to go, plus a bit of decel time, which is about to happen now. So yeah, that's just the wonder really. And as you can see, I'm still going to be a bit low before we get to Sorin, so it's maybe a bug for the fly-by-wire team to be having a look at. You can see, even though we've got Sivna in, it's still making quite a low profile compared to what I would have flown if I had been, you know, sort of programming this myself using a 3-degree glide path. However, in Dublin, we've got the Vatry 1 something arrival. 330 degrees at 9 knots, so that is 50 degrees from the right, so quite a crosswind component of about 9-10 knots. Unlimited visibility, 10,000 meters or more. A few clouds at 3,000, broken clouds at 10,000. The temperature is 8 degrees, so it's a bit chilly. And the dew point -2 means we're probably not going to be worrying about any fog or precipitation in the air. The high pressure there also makes a nice stable weather system, so we've got no significant changes. We should probably do the line-up checklist. We've already done that, obviously. Barrow reference is not yet relevant, we're not below there. Seatbelt signs need to go on, and the signs here too. The minimum is set there, we've got 369 on the barometric pressure. Auto brake we're going to use low. The engine mode selector we will do shortly. We're still in descent mode, so I'll just leave that there now. So these two things still need to be checked before we arrive properly. I've got my cup of tea, so that's all good. Descending now down to 8,000 feet, we've got 18 miles to go. Thinks we're a bit high for some reason. I'm just trying to do some theoretical physics in the background here, so what does Wolfram Alpha tell me? Not a square matrix, no eigenvalues defined. It is a square matrix, it's literally a 2x2. Oh god. Trying to find the eigenvalues of a Hermitian operator and it's not working. 2x2, no, I don't want to do that, I want to be 2x2 matrix. Yes, now let me analyse your matrix. No? Okay. Matrix calculator, just want eigenvalues. So matrix A, so it's going to be H0 on the diagonals. We've got H1 top right and H1 complex conjugate on the top left. And what I want to do is find the eigenvalues. There are eigenvalues there, you're right.
Hello everybody,
H1.
and thank you for sharing your time with me.
Looks like all of the adverts went at the same time. No, never mind. Can't use the complex conjugate. Right, there we go. We're at 7,000 now. 8 miles to go before Sorin, so nicely stable. We're actually just going to fly directly to Lapno. So flight plan there. Going to delete Sivna. Just do a direct to Lapno. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is there's going to be a new descent profile that's going to be between Sorin and Lapno. So basically, if we just keep this in descent mode, which is armed basically, hopefully what it will do is once that profile gets in, so that's basically when we are overhead Sorin and we're allowed to break the constraint, hopefully that's what will happen. It's looking like the descent profile seems to be climbing higher and higher. That's 6 miles to go, it's at 1600 above. We've got one aircraft there on the right, downwind by the looks of it, climbing out, so that probably is one of the departures because that's the way the departure routes go. You can see 1300 here, so this is starting to come down, so that's good. 1200, okay, so as we get closer to Sorin, this is going to get close to 0, and hopefully at Sorin it's going to reach 0 and we're going to start descending to Lapno. Now speed is supposed to be 230 knots inside Sorin, so we should probably hopefully see what happens if we do that. I kind of want to wait and see, to be honest. I need to also sort out my laundry, iron a couple of shirts, and finish this stupid height vector problem. Right, there comes the descent profile, so we're on profile now. Let's put the landing system up. So we've got EIDW, that's the ILS profile. The speed constraints just come in now, so I'm going to use the speed brake to help it there. Hopefully, we can now descend to Sorin, to Lapmo. Dublin traffic, Alpine 45 Tango, leaving Sorin, direct Lapmo, descending 3,000 feet for ILS 28 left. There we go. So, now it's descending, you can see that there just about happening. Just about, come on, do it a bit more, a bit more. A bit more descendy, please. Actually, we don't need to be a bit more descending, we can just follow a very gentle profile. Activate the approach phase now, so there's that one there. Flaps 1 is in, so we're going to go down to our slap speed, and then flaps 2 is here. Looking out for Dublin on the left hand side. Got 13.5 miles to go until Lapmo, and then there's another 10 miles to the runway, so no real rush. I'm not too fussed about following this because I've got the ILS up here, and I know as long as I'm below that diamond, I'm going to arrive at the right place at the right time. So we're going to fly in now with a clean speed. The approach speeds are set here. We've got slats 1 is 1921, which is what we've currently got set. Full flaps 1948, and then the VAP is 134 with a landing speed.
Dublin traffic right now, 554, pushing back, and 1 speed.
We'll set this 1024. That is the Dublin QNH at the moment. We'll just quickly double check that. 1024, yep. So we need to just change that again. Check so that's Barrow reference set. 1024, and the engine mode is now selected as well. Okay, there we go, coming back onto the approach path now. So hopefully this will just perfectly, seamlessly sort of bring us into the runway 28 left approach. Some socks. Laundry. Right now we're going too low, so I'm going to switch this over to vertical speed of about 1,000 feet per minute. Roughly the ground speed times 5. 500 plus 400, about 900 feet per minute will give me 3 degrees. We need a little bit less than 3 degrees though, because we are basically right on the money, so I kind of want to just basically plan it so I'm arriving here kind of roughly at the right altitude. I'm just adjusting the vertical speed so that this doesn't get away from me now. So the VNAV's done its job, so now it's my turn to take over. This is always the case. That's what actually really happens, is the pilots take over for the last part of the approach. There's no more using the VNAV all the way down to the runway. It's not a super duper accurate system, but it's good for initial approach. Right, there we go. Sorting out my socks. 900 feet below. Speed 180-ish, so I'm going to put in flaps 2 in a second. Should we read this? 700 feet per minute, looking good. Got the landing lights already on, speed brakes armed, seatbelt signs on, no smoking is on. Next thing to do would be turn the cabin crew as we turn final. So there's the airport down there, looking okay, there's the runway. Actually, we could fly a visual approach, couldn't we? Right, let's do a visual approach. Field in sight. Laps 2. Dublin traffic Alpine 45 Tango, the left turn onto final visual approach runway 28 left. So flight directors off. Speed's coming down nicely. We've got 160 I'll ask for the plane. There we go, we'll do flaps 3 for that. So the runway is just over here, so I'm a little bit low right now. I'm just going to keep it level for a second or two until we basically turn final. I'm not actually looking at the ILS at this point because that's cheat. In fact, I'm going to turn it off. There we go, into ILS for me. Oh no, said Johnny. Panic and alarm. Full visual approach really. So we're coming in, I can see that there's some red
Dublin
lights.
traffic, Ryanair 554 taxiing via Link 5 and Foxtrot holding point, runway 28 left. Dublin traffic.
We've got 14 knots coming from the right, so that's what's taking a little bit of time to kind of get over there. I said money is time in an aircraft, to be honest. You know, every hour of fuel costs you a few $100 at least. Okay, there's a runway. I'm just going to hold this heading for now. Looking okay. Continuously drinking tea to make sure that this is going to go smoothly, because obviously everything goes smoothly when you got a cup of tea. Okay, going to start slowly descending now. Looks like we've got one of the PAPI lights. Yep, there's both PAPI lights. So we can start going down with about 700 feet per minute. There we go, and the aircraft's just going to hold itself there. DME wise, 7.5 miles to go, visual with the runway, speed to the aircraft, gear down. Flaps full.
2,500.
Okay, there we go, so it's a full visual approach, so I'm not going to be able to look out the windows at all, because I don't even have the ILS on there. One thing's for sure, the visuals don't lie. The ILS sometimes is off. Sometimes, especially as you get to short final with Flight Simulator, you'll end up way too high or way too low. Okay, I can see from the PFD, the navigational display, sorry, the ND, the little yellow bar there is representing the track of the aircraft compared to the heading, which is a little green diamond on this arc here basically. So what that's telling me is that I'm tracking slightly to the right of where I'm going, so that's why we've just sort of pointed the plane into the wind slightly. It's looking good for the approach. I'm maybe a bit high now, so I'm just going to descend now. Looks like I might even have 4 wides. Yeah, that's all 4 wides, so I need to just descend a bit faster, as you can barely see them, which is a bit frustrating to be honest, but it's okay. It's just making it very nice efficient. There's 1 red. 2 reds, please. Dublin traffic, Alpine 45 Tango short final runway 28 left. So let's just have a quick zoom in. Okay, we've got 1 red still. Keep it going down until we see the 2nd red. Once we picked up the 2nd red, then I'm going to sort of level up. And the sad thing is, this only really works, you can't really see the PAPI lights until you are about 2 mile final.
1,000.
Properly anyway, so now I can see them, now it's okay. Still need to be going down a bit more. Still got those 11 knots coming from the right, that's not a problem. Just sort of fixing at a point just in front of the runway, so I'm forcing myself to take a steep approach, and now that I've got PAPI 2 I'm going to aim at the blocks now, so the blocks are now my aiming point, which is the aiming point blocks, which are right in line with the PAPI, so I'm staring straight at that, basically just holding that in my view and holding around 700 feet per minute at this point. So 700 feet per minute looking at those lights and blocks.
400. 300.
Still good.
100 above. 200.
Ryanair taxiing out there, here's the Jack speed calling on the
Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Touchdown. Decrab there on the runway, reverse the screen.
Dublin traffic, Ryanair 554 lining up runway 28 left.
And decent. Okay, right. Yes, you see the little lurch to the right was because as we landed the aircraft was still pointing to the right, so the wheels frictionally want to go to the right, that's why it sort of lumbers over that way, and then we correct it quickly with the rudder. There we go, right, vacated. Wait until the whole aircraft is over the line. Dublin traffic, Alpine 45 Tango vacated, 28 left.
Dublin traffic, Ryanair 554 departing runway 28 left, Liffey 6 Alpha departure, Dublin traffic.
Dublin traffic, catch at 84, taxi to holding point runway 34.
Okay, we're going to taxi the gate now. Flaps coming in, that landing rate felt okay. It was 93 feet per minute, which is quite okay. Below 100 is good, below 50 is insane, and probably also not safe. You kind of want to get it down there. Ryanair's off. Okay, we're going to cross over and go to a slightly nicer stand. Normally we end up at the EasyJet terminal, but I'm going to go to the Aer Lingus one today. So it's going to be left over here, across the runway. Probably going to aim for the blue ones here. This one. So Aer Lingus go here. We're going to go there. Failed, yeah, Dublin. Let's cross now, Sierra. lights off, strobe lights off, APU master and start. Put the APU bleed on as well. I hate when you right click, it locks your controls. Dublin traffic, Alpine 45 Tango crossing runway 16. Actually I could have landed runway 16, that would have been a fun option. It's sort of in use, isn't it? It's a full runway. It's a short one, but it's a fully kitted out runway as in got ILS approaches. Okay, we're going to take the second right now. Hello British Airways. He's probably about 2 feet higher than me in the elevation. Apron 4. Let's go over here since we didn't even get stairs last time. So I'm going to go for stand 313. There's black and yellow line now. Three, 1, 2. Let's just line ourselves up a bit better. That'll do. Parking brake. See if we can get something connected. I don't think we'll get the jetway out here because we're not technically in the right spot. Oh, we will. That is good stuff, that is. Jetway is on its way then. Yeah, welcome to Dublin. Wonder if that's going to have a glitch at some point. So, external power is now connected so the APU can go off. Beacon, taxi off, and seatbelt signs off. Yeah, it's just going to do that. So good luck jumping through there, passengers. Have fun. Thank you for flying EasyJet.